Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how has your summer been? How's it going?
Summer's been good. I'm kind of sad it's over. I'm wearing my end of summer shirt now that I
Yeah,
know Labor Day is over and we're back
right.
to it. But it's been a pretty good summer, no complaints really. Yeah, did some traveling, got some good weather in, got some bad weather. It was super hot a little
Oh,
bit, we got occupied here. So highs
right.
and lows all around.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that later. How's the wife?
Good, good. Everything's good. And she's still at the government, so things
Oh,
are
she
chugging
is
along
good.
there. Yep, yep. So yeah, we're having a good. We're gonna do some traveling in the fall, but yeah, we've had a good summer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, I'll let you all take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I saw a lot of films over the summer. I'm just gonna talk about three just to give up the highlights of what I've seen this summer. But first, I want to start with I think the superhero movie of the summer, which was Superman, directed by James Gunn. And this is actually the first Superman film I've seen. Like I've sat down and watched the whole way through. I wasn't a big Superman person growing up, and I didn't really get into the comic books too much. He's a superhero with all the powers, so it's like, how do you foil that? Well, this is a good way to do it. So I like that this movie starts you right in the action. And so we get Superman. He just got beat up from a battle. We're not doing an origin story. We all know the origin story of Superman. So James Gunn is just taking us right into the action, right into a world that he's building and setting up, I guess, for the larger DC universe of not just Superman, but there's other superheroes in this movie, and there are different dimensions and different aliens and different things happening all the time. But the main story is Superman is kind of becoming unpopular, and Lex Luthor is behind it. So he has to navigate how to solve that of being very unpopular and then saving the day in the end. I don't want to spoil too much, but really, it's a fun. It's James Gunn. If you've seen Guardians movies, you know that he does this kind of fun kind of movie. So there's a lot of silliness. Doesn't take itself seriously. There's a lot of action, a lot of those fun moments in typical James Gunn fashion. There's also like a montage where he's playing some song from the 70s and some action is happening in slow motion. So we get that too. But yeah, I thought it was a fun adventure and it's kind of like a fresh take on DC. And I'm going to talk about my other movies, but Chike, did you get a chance to watch that?
I did. I so much don't like the fun. I mean, I get it. It's a family movie and it's for family consumption. I get it. It's perfect for that. However, I'm used to my DC characters being a little dark and, a little a little dank, a little drama, straight to the action. Well, he did get straight to the action. I agree with you on that. But I'm just used to DC having a darker edge than Marvel normally does. Just simply because the comic books were that way.
Mhm. Yeah, no,
So,
that's fair. And I think
but yeah, I just where they lose me is with the fun, happy, jokey. I'm not into that. Not so much.
yeah, I will agree. Like, Crypto, he's the super dog. He's fine. I know people are gonna love him, but yeah, that's like it starts with the silliness already, and it's just it does go on. But I think this is kind of maybe this is what DC needs to kind of get that fresh start and like get things moving along to build that universe.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. The next film I saw, which is probably like the kids movie of the year, which is K-pop Demon Hunters. And Steven, Chike, if you saw my Instagram, I dressed up as some of the characters, one of the characters for Dragon Con. But this is an animated feature from Sony that was released on Netflix over the summer. And it took about a month for it to really like explode in popularity. But it follows a K-pop band of girls who have to perform songs to keep the demons out of the normal world. So they perform this song and it creates like this net that keeps the demon world separated. Well, the demon world decides to create a K-pop boy band to counteract the popularity of the girl band. And then that's when kind of the romance happens and the competition happens and we get all our singing music, sing-alongs and things like that. So Uh, I don't know much about K-pop. I know there's a lot of like satire involved. I thought it was funny. I thought they did a good job. It is a kids movie, so if you happen to not have seen it yet, you're not missing much if you don't have kids or you're not hanging around kids. If you have been hanging around kids, everyone's seen this probably like 20 times already. They released a sing-along in the theaters. You can watch the sing-along on Netflix. But it's a fun movie. I had no regrets watching it. It's understanding it's a kids movie. You know that you don't have to look too deep. Third act might like suffer a little bit, but again, the kids are gonna love it. And I am very surprised of how big of a hit this has become
Mm,
everywhere. And I
Hip
mean, they're
hop
making
is big.
sequels, so this is just going to keep going.
Hip hop is big.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't they have like series shows on Netflix now? Aren't
I
there a
wouldn't be
couple
surprised.
shows on
there
Netflix?
There are, yeah, yeah. And that's why this one was such a big surprise. The soundtrack for this album, which the songs are performed by like various K-pop artists and
Mm,
singers, the soundtrack has outsold actual K-pop bands that release new albums at the same time.
wow.
So
Wow.
just to give an idea of like the phenomenon of this movie, it's crazy.
Mm.
Wow. Is that it for you?
And then I have one more, and I'll keep this one quick. But since we're wrapping up our season here or our show, I decided to dip my toes into horror, and I normally don't,
Oh,
but everyone has been talking about weapons, and
I
so I've
saw that.
decided to watch it. Say what?
I saw that.
You did? Okay. Well, I'll tell you my thoughts first. So I'm not a horror movie person, and again, so weapons is I'll tell you this story is it's takes place in a small town in Colorado. And one day, all these students, except for one, disappear from this classroom. And what happened is at 2:17 in the morning, all the kids got up, left their houses, and disappeared into the woods, into the unknown. And so Weapons tells the story of what happened. What I liked about it is it has like a kind of a run, Lolo, run style way it does the story where you get the perspective of the different characters that over these period of a few days. So you get the teacher and you get what happens to her over the few days, and then it'll jump back, and then you get a parent, what happens to him over the few days. I like that. The movie, I think, had such a cool premise and a way about it. But again, for me, the silliness was just uh, too much for me. The angry parent that's blaming the teacher when the kid ran out of the parent's house in the middle of the night, or the elements of when and I won't spoil like what's going on, but like just those elements of what's happening, or kind of the goriness, or like the goofiness, or again, the trope of the horror movie where why would any logical person do what's going on?
Mhm.
Throws me off. But
Right.
I will say I was really enjoying it when we got the cop storyline and then the druggies storyline, because that's
Mhm.
when I felt like we were going on an interesting turn with the story of characters that we didn't even see at the beginning. So
Right.
it's highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes. People love it. It's just not for me.
I liked it. I agree with you. For me, the best storylines was the drug addict and the cop. And I love the ending. I love revenge in the end, but we won't go there. But also the fact that the student that didn't run away, how he was watching his, I won't go into details, but watching his aunt and was able to help in the end. You know what I mean? But it also goes, I thought also a bigger picture to that is that when you go to school, you never know what students are facing at home. Remember how he was still going to school but he was shutting down and his teacher could feel something was off. You never know, like in real life, what students are dealing with at home, and they're trying to protect when they come to school. So I thought those were interesting too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me.
Very good. I didn't see it yet, but you're making me curious, so I'll check it out.
I think you'll like it, Chica.
Yeah.
This is up your alley, Chica. You're gonna love it. Again, it gets a little silly at parts, but everyone loves this movie, so you'll enjoy it.
Okay. All right. So, my film, one of them was Superman, which we already discussed. The next one is Highest to Lowest. It's Spike Lee's latest film, which stars Denzel Washington, A$AP Rocky, Jeffrey Wright, Ice Spice, Rick Fox, Dean Winters. You know him better as Mayhem, and Elijah Wright, who happens to be Jeffrey Wright's son. Uh, this is a typical Spike Lee movie, crime drama. Uh, Spike Lee's not going to vary too far away from his pathology. You're going to see elements of him in every film that he does. You know, with the pulling cam, where the back is stationary and it's like the elongated vision. That's so Spike Lee. He doesn't fail with that. But the storyline is a high-powered music executive is facing a big decision on buying the label, but simultaneously his son is kidnapped and held for ransom,
Mhm.
and so that jeopardizes the deal with him buying the record company, and a whole lot is at stake. I'll let you see the movie to see all the elements of what's at stake, but it's piling up, and he has a grave decision to make. And then there's a twist in the middle of all of that. And you get to see the deconstruction of somebody who's famous because it talks about cancel culture in depth. It talks about what it means to sustain likability in the social media era, um, what it takes to actually run a corporation which deals with artists, uh, intellectual property, and how that pans out over the years and how people make money off of it. It's really interesting. And he also deals with the fact of making a decision, a moral decision based off of, do you want to be popular? Do you want to be successful? Or do you want to be morally right?
Mm.
It's a very good movie and it teaches great lessons that way. You know, it makes you think and it makes you go down the rabbit hole of, if you were in that position, what would you do? And you have to actually watch the movie to see the position. I'm not going to tell it to you because that's the twist of the movie. But
Yeah.
definitely check it out. Spike is still in his game of educating us as well as entertaining us. There are a couple parts that were a little corny to me. I'll keep those to myself because I do not want to sway you, but it's worth a watch. Definitely check it out. Scenes between Denzel and Jeffrey Wright, stellar.
Mm.
Scenes between Denzel and ASAP Rocky, beyond stellar. It's almost damn poetic. I'll say that. So definitely check it out.
Interesting.
So
I will say I probably should have seen that movie this weekend instead of Weapons, it sounds like. But what I wanted to do, because it's a remake of an Akira Kurosawa film from the 60s.
mhm, mhm,
And I like that you mentioned because I do want to see how they like update it for modern times and like you
mhm.
said, like the internet culture and that kind of fame culture. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Yeah, definitely check that out. And I'm gonna jump over to TV. My brand new show that I'm loving so far is Alien Earth, which is on FX and Hulu. Definitely check that out. That's like another chapter of the whole Alien series. And it's what I'm noticing from all the installments, except for when Sigourney Weaver is in it. That's not true. I'm almost said something that was wrong. The storyline is very consistent in the movies as it gets to um, maybe the third Alien or maybe the fourth one, and then it circles back and it's almost like a prequel in the films leading up to what we now have in the series, because the series is pretty much the end game, and those that follow the movies, if they tend to, they get to the series to watch it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But it's definitely interesting, and it's I'll say there's a lot more players in the game as opposed to what it was in the films. um can we talk quickly about the cancellation of and Just Like That, which is the Sex and the City
Yeah.
second installment of the story, the second series, um, which I, I've in some circles call it Sex in the City too, because a lot of people don't watch it, so they don't know that that's what it is. So I call it that, but that's not what it is. It's called And Just Like That. And the producers and the creators of it are very adamant about telling you that it's not Sex in the City. It's another chapter in the lives of the characters that started in Sex in the City. And I think that due to people's detachment from it versus, the whole Sex in the City thing is what is causing for the cancellation. Um, I was enjoying it because it was a continuation of a story that started. I'm into stories. You tell me a great story and I'm there. I thought it was a great graduation of um, these women that were in their 30s now in their 50s and how they're juggling life now as opposed to doing the same thing that they were doing in their 30s now in their 50s. And a lot of people brought up the fact that Kim Cattrall is no longer with the show playing Samantha, and that put a damper on the show. But in real life, do we all have our friends that we
Right.
had from decades ago? And
Mhm.
and when you don't, how do you go and how do you move on and how do you weave those changes into your life with in association with people that you were all friends with at the same time? It's pretty interesting. So shout out to the cast and crew and just like that. Sorry it didn't work out, but thank you for the effort. I was enjoying the show. Um, and that's pretty much it for me for now.
All right, real quick, I just want to shout out two movies that I recently saw. I saw, um, speaking of Spike Lee, he has the Come Hell or High Water, its 20th
Yeah.
anniversary of the Katrina documentary. It's a three-part series. I think it's like an hour each. I watched it, really good. A lot of things that we
Mm-hmm.
didn't know, or at least I didn't know. When you watch the news back, when it happened, but seeing from the locals' perspective, we talk a lot of survivors and people who were displaced, and I thought it was very, very well done. Finally, I saw The Conjuring. I saw it last night, Last Rites, and this is with the it's the ninth installment, and they bring back Ed and Lorraine Warren. That's the characters and their daughter and her fiance. It's To me, I thought it was good. It was just long, and at one point I was like, okay, can we get to it? Kill somebody. What I'm saying? They tell every story in there, but I thought it was good. Especially if you're a Conjuring fan, I think you'll like it. But yeah, check those out.
And that's the story. That's the story that basically was the Amityville horror story,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Really good. I thought it was good. That was good. Well, listen, guys, thank you for always for letting us know what to spend our time, money, or what not. And we're back next week, right back after this.